Right now,
This
at this
crystal is the
exact
key to
moment,
everything.
Cole Brennan is
It will
juggling a
show us
weapon
the
that weighs
way.
400,000 kelers with 2 fingers while eating a breakfast burrito. The weapon is called the World Breaker Blade. It has ended civilizations, toppled empires. The Calaxian warrior who last tried to lift it died screaming as his bones turned to powder. That was 6 weeks ago. They still haven't cleaned all the blood off the ceremonial floor. Cole doesn't know this. He's focused on not dropping salsa on his jumpsuit. Behind him, Weapons Master Corval is having what humans would call a complete mental breakdown. His skin has shifted from the calm blue-green of a professional military officer to a bright strobing red that looks like a malfunctioning traffic light. Stress slime pools around his webbed feet. His throat sac inflates and deflates so rapidly it sounds like a broken accordion. He can't speak, can't move, can't process what he's witnessing. The human balances the world breaker on his index and middle finger. The blade wobbles, steadies. The human takes another bite of his burrito. Pretty good balance once you find the center point, Cole says, talking to himself. Weight distribution's weird, but manageable. Corval makes a sound somewhere between a croak and a scream. 6 months ago, Cole Brennan was unclogging a toilet on Deck 12. This is how one maintenance tech and his father's wrench changed the galaxy. The alarm didn't so much wake Cole as confirm he'd never really been asleep. 0530 hours, Obsidian Station. Deck 12, residential sector. The bunk was standard issue. Thin mattress, metal frame. The kind of bed that made you appreciate being vertical. Cole sat up, reached for his boots in the dark. His hands found them by muscle memory. 20 years of early mornings had trained his body to function before his brain fully engaged. His father's wrench hung on the wall. 12 inches of carbon steel handle worn smooth from decades of use. Cole touched it once. A ritual. Every morning. Fix it right or don't fix it at all, son, his father's voice. Clear as yesterday. Would have been 10 years this week since the accident. Factory floor, faulty equipment, corporate negligence dressed up as operator error in the final report. Cole had read that report so many times he'd memorized it. Every lie, every omission. He joined the Marines 3 days after the funeral. Left the Marines 5 years later with a dishonorable discharge and a clean conscience. Now he fixed things, toilets mostly. But he fixed them right. The jumpsuit was where he'd left it, draped over the chair, still damp with yesterday's sweat and whatever had leaked from the air recycler on Deck 9. The name patch said Brennan in block letters. No rank, no title, just a name. He pulled it on, zipped it up, clipped the tool belt around his waist. The wrench went in the main loop. Always within reach, his tablet pinged. Work order, priority level standard. Location Deck 12, residential bathroom 7. Issue backed up, waste disposal. Cole grabbed his kit and headed out. The corridors of Obsidian Station were empty at this hour. Overhead lights running on night mode, casting everything in dim blue. The station was massive, built by the Calaxian Empire to serve as a trade hub in this sector. 15 decks, population around 8,000. Mix of species, mostly Calaxians, some Kryn, a handful of Vortellians, and exactly 47 humans. Cole had been here 3 years, kept his head down, did his work, stayed out of politics. The bathroom was at the end of a long corridor, door already propped open. Someone had left a handwritten note, "Don't use." Broken. Cole smiled. Human handwriting, probably Jenkins from Deck 8. The smell hit him before he crossed the threshold. Methane, sewage, something organic and deeply wrong. He set down his kit, pulled out a respirator, snapped it over his face. The seal hissed. Clean air flooded his lungs. Better. The toilet was standard Calaxian design, which meant it was built for being 7 feet tall with webbed feet and a completely different waste elimination system. The engineering was solid. The maintenance was not. Nobody wanted to fix alien plumbing. It was considered beneath most contractors. Cole didn't mind. He knelt, popped the access panel, grabbed a flashlight from his belt. The blockage was 3 feet down. Looked like someone had tried to flush something fibrous. Plant matter, maybe. Or fabric. Hard to tell after it had spent a week decomposing in chemical waste. Cole reached for his snake cable. 40 minutes later, the toilet flushed clean. He packed up his kit, logged the work order as complete, moved on to the next job. This was his life. This was enough. At 0800 hours, he grabbed breakfast from the commissary. Eggs, toast. Coffee that tasted like it had been filtered through a sock. He sat alone at a corner table, ate mechanically. Didn't taste anything. Around him, the morning shift filtered in. Engineers, techs, station personnel. He recognized faces but not names. Kept it that way on purpose. His tablet pinged again. New work order. Priority level urgent. Location Vault Omega 7. Issue gravitational anomaly. Investigate and repair. Cole stared at the screen. Vault Omega 7. He'd been there before. 3 times. Once to replace lighting panels. Once to fix a humidity sensor. Once to unjam a door lock. Standard maintenance. Nothing complicated. But he'd never seen an urgent work order from the weapons vault. He checked the assignment log. No other techs available. Night shift hadn't logged it. Probably figured they'd leave it for day crew. He finished his coffee, grabbed his kit, headed for the vault. The vault sector was 4 decks down. Restricted access. Heavy security. Cole's maintenance clearance got him through the first 2 checkpoints without issue. The third required a biometric scan. He pressed his palm to the reader. The scanner hummed. Verified. The blast door hissed open. Inside the corridor was different. Reinforced walls, ambient lighting instead of overhead strips. The air felt heavier, charged, like the moment before a thunderstorm. Vault Omega 7 was at the end. The door was already open. That was unusual. Cole stepped through. The room was hexagonal. 6 walls, each one lined with pedestals. Amber lighting bathed everything in warm gold. Pretty fancy for what he'd assumed was just storage. But the gravity felt wrong, not broken, just inconsistent, like walking downstairs and thinking there's one more step when there isn't. Cole pulled out his scanner, powered it on, started taking readings. The numbers didn't make sense. Gravitational force fluctuating between 0.8 and 1.4 standard Gs. Every few seconds. Regular oscillation, like a pendulum. He traced the source. Center pedestal. Dramatic spotlight from above. And floating 3 feet off its base, spinning slowly in the air, was a sword. Not a sword exactly. More like the idea of a sword rendered in metal that seemed to absorb light. The blade was dark, darker than black. The edges caught the amber glow and bent it into something that hurt to look at directly. It rotated in place. Theatrical. Intentional. Cole walked closer. The pedestal had a control panel. Standard Calaxian interface. He crouched down, started running diagnostics. The gravity lock was glitching, overcorrecting, causing the fluctuations throughout the vault. Simple fix. He popped the panel cover. Human. The voice came from behind, wet, like someone talking through a mouthful of water. Cole didn't jump. Years of training. He turned slowly. The Calaxian was tall, had to be at least 7 feet. Moist amphibian skin doing that blue-green thing they did when calm. 3 eyes, 2 in front, 1 on top of the head, rotating slowly to scan the room. Cole recognized him from the station roster. Corval, weapons master, in charge of this vault and everything in it. His skin was already showing patches of orange. Step away from the gravity blade, Corval said. The what now? Cole was already focused on the control panel. Multi-tool in hand. The gravity blade. Corval said it slower this time. Like Cole was stupid. The most dangerous weapon in the Calaxian arsenal, forged in the gravity well of a collapsing star. It has slain the enemies of 17 worlds. No warrior has ever mastered its weight. Many have died trying to, are you touching the pedestal? Yeah, the gravity lock's busted. Give me a second. Corval's skin flickered orange. Just patches at first, spreading across his arms. The lock is not malfunctioning. It is set to maximum security because the blade cannot be contained through normal means. You must not. The pedestal beeped. The sword dropped 6 inches. The gravity field caught it again, held it, wobbling. Corval's skin went full orange, traffic cone orange. His throat sac inflated to the size of a grapefruit. He made a croaking sound that echoed off the reinforced walls. Stop! Do not adjust do to relax. Cole twisted 2 more controls. I'm just recalibrating the graviton emitters. This thing's oscillating, frequency is all over the place. Probably somebody spilled coffee on it or something. The sword dropped another foot. Amber warning lights around the room started flashing faster. Corval lunged forward, or tried to. His webbed feet hit a puddle of something slick on the floor, probably coming from his own skin at this point. He went down hard. All 7 feet of panicked amphibian warrior hit the deck with a wet, smacking sound. Please. Corval gasped from the floor, one webbed hand reaching toward Cole. His skin was doing this rapid color shift between orange and red now, flickering like a broken traffic light. You do not understand what you are doing. The gravity blade weighs more than a small spacecraft. Its gravitational field can crush bones, warp metal. If you disable the containment, it will fall and destroy everything below it, possibly including the structural integrity of this entire section. Cole popped the panel cover off completely, found the problem immediately. "Oh, there's your issue," he pointed with his multi-tool. "Somebody installed a Type 7 graviton regulator. You need a Type 9 for anything over 50,000 kelers. This thing's been working overtime for probably months." 50,000, Corval tried to get up, slipped again in what was now definitely a growing pool of stress slime. Sort of skidded closer to Cole on his belly. His dorsal crest was standing straight up. "That is not the weight. The blade mass is over 400,000. Cole wasn't really listening anymore. He'd found a spare Type 9 in his toolkit, was already swapping it out. The sword dropped again. Caught, then stabilized about a foot off the pedestal. Much better. The gravity fluctuations in the room immediately smoothed out. Cole could feel it in his inner ear. Everything settled into a nice, consistent 1.0 G. "There we go. Easy fix." He stood up, brushed some dust off his jumpsuit, reached out to grab the sword. Had to check if the pedestal itself was damaged underneath. The moment that followed happened really fast, but also seemed to take forever. His fingers wrapped around the handle. It was surprisingly warm, almost hot. He lifted it off the gravity field. It was heavy, sure, like holding a full toolbox with one hand. Awkward weight distribution, definitely, but nothing crazy. Corval made a sound that Cole didn't know Calaxians could make. Somewhere between a scream, a croak, and the sound of air being let out of a balloon. His skin flashed bright red. Emergency flare red, and he started secreting so much slime that he was basically hydroplaning across the floor. All three eyes blinking rapid fire. Throat sac inflating and deflating like a broken accordion. "It should be impossible," Corval wheezed. "You should be crushed. Your bones should be powder. Dude, seriously, are you okay?" Cole turned the blade over in his hand, checking the pedestal surface beneath where it had been floating. Little scorch mark, nothing serious. "You're like really red right now, and you're leaking everywhere. Should I call medical?" Corval had managed to prop himself up against one of the other pedestals, leaving a trail of slime like the world's most panicked snail. All three of his eyes were fixed on the blade in Cole's hand. His webbed fingers were gripping the pedestal edge so hard they'd gone pale green. "How?" Corval whispered. "How are you holding it?" "With my hand." Cole gave it a little toss, just a few inches, wanted to feel the balance point. Caught it again. Weight distribution was weird, center of mass somewhere near the crossguard, but manageable once you figured it out. The toss made Corval's eyes go in three different directions. Cole was genuinely worried he was having a stroke. "You tossed it." "I mean, yeah, like 2 inches. You tossed the gravity blade." "If we're being pedantic, I guess it was more of a little flip." Corval's throat sac inflated in pulses. "Our strongest warriors cannot lift it from the ground. The last soldier who attempted to wield it had both arms torn from their sockets by the gravitational stress. Before that, 3 warriors were crushed when they tried to move it in tandem. We require industrial anti-grav sleds just to transport it between stations. And even then we lose equipment to the gravitational shear." He paused, stared at Cole. "And you are tossing it." Cole looked down at the sword, back at Corval, back at the sword. "Are we talking about the same thing, this sword?" "Yes." "This sword right here in my hand?" "Yes." "The one I'm currently holding with 2 fingers." Cole held it up, balanced it on his index and middle finger to illustrate the point. The blade wobbled a bit, but held steady. Corval's skin flickered between red and panic white. The floor was becoming a legitimate slip hazard. "Okay, look." Cole was starting to feel like maybe he was missing something. "I'm just going to put it back." "No." Corval tried to stand, slipped immediately, caught himself on the pedestal. "Do not. The gravitational field is not if you drop it without the field active." "I'm not going to drop it, man. I'm a professional." Cole leaned over and gently set the sword back on the pedestal, then reactivated the gravity lock with the fresh Type 9 regulator. The blade floated up smoothly to its original position, started that slow theatrical spin again. See, good as new. No more fluctuations. Corval was just staring at him now, all 3 eyes unblinking. His skin had settled into a kind of shocked coral color Cole hadn't seen before. Cole packed up his toolkit, grabbed what was left of his breakfast burrito from where he'd set it on a nearby crate. "So, I'm going to mark this work order as complete. The graviton regulator should hold for another few years, but you might want to schedule regular maintenance checks. These vaults put a lot of stress on the gravity systems. You, Corval's voice was barely a whisper. You have been in this vault before. Sure, a couple times. Why? When Cole pulled out his tablet, checked his work history. Looks like I replaced some lighting panels in here about 3 months ago, and I fixed a humidity sensor maybe 6 months before that. Oh, and there was that one time the door lock jammed, and I had to... The lighting panels. Corval's top eye rotated to focus on the ceiling, while the other two stayed locked on Cole. The ones directly above the gravity blade. Yeah, the fixtures up there had to climb on the pedestal to reach them. Why, Corval's throat sac inflated one more time, then deflated with a long defeated wheeze. Nothing. No reason. Cool. Cole headed for the door, then remembered something, turned back. Oh, hey, random question. Corval's skin started shifting toward orange again. That sword thingy makes a pretty good test weight. I've been using it during my lunch breaks to calibrate some of my gravity tools. Just juggling it a bit to check the field variance on my portable scanner. He took a bite of his burrito. That's cool, right? Cole didn't speak Calaxian, but he was pretty sure the sound Corval made translated roughly to what? His skin went from coral to bright red to existential crisis purple. He tried to stand, slipped in the slime puddle that now covered about a quarter of the vault floor, just sort of gave up halfway through. His dorsal crest flopped over sideways. Juggling, Corval repeated, voice hollow. You have been juggling the gravity blade. I mean just with two of them. Haven't managed three yet. Gets tricky with the weight distribution, but I'm getting pretty good at it. Almost got 5 rotations yesterday before I had to catch it with my foot. Corval's 3 eyes rolled back. For a second, Cole thought he'd actually passed out, but then his throat sac started doing this rapid flutter thing. Might have been hyperventilating. You should probably see medical about all that slime, Cole said, gesturing at the puddle. And maybe someone should mop this before it becomes a safety hazard. He left. Behind him, he heard a wet thud, like Corval had just given up on vertical existence entirely. Cole's tablet pinged about 30 seconds later. New message from High Commander Silka. Subject immediate attendance required. Location Training Arena Theta. Time now. Cole sighed. This was going to be one of those days. Training Arena Theta wasn't what Cole expected. He'd figured he'd get called to Commander Silka's office, get a slap on the wrist about unauthorized lunch break activities, maybe a reminder about proper equipment handling procedures. Standard bureaucratic nonsense. Instead, he walked into a circular room about 100 feet across. Reinforced walls, high ceiling, combat training equipment lining the perimeter. The kind of space where people learned to hurt each other efficiently. In the center stood High Commander Silka. She was 7.5 feet tall, deep teal skin that looked almost black under the overhead lights, dorsal crest that put Corval's to shame, 3 golden eyes that tracked Cole's entrance with the kind of focus that made him suddenly understand why she was in charge of a military station. Her webbed hands were clasped behind her back. That way officers do when they're about to ruin your day. Corval was off to the side, still looking kind of orange. He'd changed uniforms. The slime-soaked one was presumably in whatever counted as a biohazard bag, but his eyes were doing that rapid blink thing again when he saw Cole. Technician Brennan. Commander Silka's voice had this resonant quality, like she was speaking from the bottom of a very deep pool. Weapons Master Corval has made some alarming claims about your interaction with the gravity blade. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize it was off limits for maintenance purposes. The work order didn't specify. You picked it up. Well, yeah, had to check the pedestal underneath. Standard procedure when you're diagnosing gravitational field malfunctions. Her throat sac inflated slightly. Just a little. Controlled. Corval claims you were holding it with one hand. Technically 2 hands at different points, but yeah, 1 hand for most of it. Cole shrugged. Didn't need both. It's not that heavy. The throat sac inflated more. Corval made a small whimpering sound. He also claims, Commander Silka continued, her voice very carefully level, that you have been juggling it during your lunch breaks. Oh yeah, that. Cole scratched the back of his head. Look, I know it probably seems unprofessional, but I was using it to calibrate my equipment. It's got this really interesting gravitational signature, and I figured if I could map it precisely enough, I could... Show me. Cole blinked. Show you what? Pick up the gravity blade. She gestured to the side of the arena. Cole suddenly noticed the sword sitting on a reinforced stand. When had they brought that in? I want to see this for myself. Okay, sure. Cole walked over to the stand, very aware of two sets of Calaxian eyes tracking his every movement. Corval's skin was already shifting back toward orange. Cole grabbed the handle, lifted the sword off the stand. Same as before. Warm metal, decent weight, bit awkward in the balance. He turned to face Commander Silka. Like this, her skin flickered, just a brief flash of lighter teal. Then back to normal. Her throat sac did a weird little pulse. With one hand. I mean, yeah, it's not, toss it. What? Corval claims you tossed it. I want to see. Her three eyes were completely unblinking now, all focused on Cole with an intensity that was honestly kind of unsettling. Okay, but it's really not that impressive. Cole flipped the sword up, about a foot, caught it. See, just checking the balance point. Commander Silka's hands, which had been clasped behind her back, slowly came around to her sides. Her fingers flexed, her dorsal crest stood up slightly. Again! Higher! This was getting weird, but she was the commander. Cole tossed it higher, maybe 3 feet, caught it cleanly. The weight distribution was actually growing on him. Once you figured out where the center of mass was, it moved pretty predictably. Corval had backed up against the wall. Spin it, Commander Silka said, like while it's in the air. Yes, Cole tossed it again, gave it a little wrist flick to add rotation. The blade spun once, twice. He caught it by the handle. Okay, is this going somewhere because I really do have that waste recycler issue on deck 9. And if I don't get to it soon, the whole section's going to smell like juggle it. Cole stared at her. I told you, I can only do 2 objects right now. Haven't figured out 3 yet. Commander Silka walked over to a weapons rack on the arena wall, pulled off 2 training batons. Maybe 2 feet long each, dense polymer. She walked back, held them out to Cole. Use these. You want me to juggle the sword with training batons? Yes. Cole looked at Corval, who had his webbed hands over his face, probably not going to get help from that direction. All right, I guess. Fair warning, I'm still working on the rhythm. He tucked the sword under his arm, took the batons. They were lighter than expected, maybe 2 pounds each. He tossed one up to get a feel for it, then started the basic cascade pattern. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Got a steady rhythm going. Then pulled the sword out and tried to work it into the pattern. First attempt was sloppy. The sword's weight was different enough from the batons that his timing was off. He had to catch it with his knee and bounce it back up. Behind him, Corval made that balloon deflating sound again. Sorry, let me try that again. Second attempt was better. He got maybe 3 full rotations before the sword's weird balance threw him off. Had to do this awkward behind-the-back catch to keep it from hitting the floor. This is harder than it looks. He concentrated. The trick was to throw the sword higher, compensate for the extra time it took to rotate. Once he figured that out, the pattern smoothed out. Right hand baton, left hand baton, right hand sword, left hand baton, right hand baton, left hand sword. Oh, hey, I think I'm getting it. Cole looked up at Commander Silka, grinning because he'd finally managed a solid rotation pattern, and immediately lost his concentration. Both batons went flying. The sword was midair. His hands were full of burrito. Wait, when had he grabbed his burrito, the sword was falling. Cole did the only thing he could think of. Stuck his foot out, caught it on the top of his boot. The flat of the blade landed perfectly balanced, right on his steel-toed work boot. He stood there, one leg extended, a sword balanced on his foot, holding half a breakfast burrito, while 2 training batons clattered across the floor. Silence, complete silence. Commander Silka's skin had gone completely pale, almost translucent. Cole could see the blood vessels underneath, pulsing in a way that seemed medically concerning. All 3 of her eyes were wide enough that he was worried they might actually pop out of her head. Her throat sac was inflated to the size of a cantaloupe, and just stayed that way. Not inflating, not deflating, frozen. Corval had slid down the wall into a sitting position. His skin was cycling through colors so fast it was basically a strobe light. His dorsal crest was completely flat against his head. So, Cole said, still standing on one leg with a sword on his foot. Should I put this down or? Commander Silka's throat sac finally deflated, with a sound like a tire losing air. How did you do that? The foot thing, honestly, mostly luck. I used to play hacky sack in college, so I've got pretty good foot-eye coordination. but timing it with the weight of the not the foot thing. Her voice had gone very quiet. All of it, the holding, the tossing, the juggling, the whatever that was. She gestured vaguely at his foot. You are treating the most dangerous weapon in Calaxian history like a recreational object. Cole carefully lowered his foot, caught the sword in his free hand. I mean, you're the one who told me to juggle it. Because I did not think you could. Her throat sac inflated again. No one can do what you just did. It should be impossible. The gravitational forces alone should have torn your arms from your body. The mass should have crushed every bone in your hand, and you were balancing it on your foot while eating a sandwich. Burrito, Cole corrected, then immediately realized that was probably not the point. Also, I'm pretty sure the mass thing is exaggerated. This is maybe 20 pounds. Tops. It masses 400,000 kelers. Yeah, Corval said that, but I really think your scale is broken. Cole held the sword out with one hand, extended his arm fully. Look, if it was really 400,000 of anything, my arm would be on the floor right now. Commander Silka's hands were trembling, actual visible trembling. Corval, scan him. Corval pulled out some kind of handheld scanner with shaking fingers, pointed it at Cole. He stared at the readout, blinked all three eyes in sequence, looked at Cole, looked at the scanner, back to Cole. Commander, he said faintly, he is completely baseline. Baseline what? Cole asked. Baseline human. No genetic modifications. No cybernetic enhancements. No gravitational field manipulation technology. No localized reality anchors. Corval's voice was getting higher. He is just a human. Yeah, Cole said. I could have told you that. I filled out the medical forms when I got hired. Commander Silka walked over to the sword stand and sat down on it. Just sat right down, like her legs had stopped working. Her skin was still that concerning, translucent, pale color. This is a problem, she said quietly. Is it, though? Cole took another bite of burrito. I mean, I fixed the gravity fluctuations. Work orders complete. Everyone's happy. Everyone is not happy. She looked up at him with all three eyes. Do you understand what this means? If humans can casually wield weapons that our strongest warriors cannot even lift, that changes everything. The power balance of the entire sector. Our defensive strategies are okay, but counterpoint. Cole set the sword back on its stand. I really don't think I'm special. I'm just a maintenance guy. Pretty sure any human could do this if they tried. The color drained out of both Calaxians simultaneously. Any human, Commander Silka repeated. Yeah. I mean, I'm in okay shape, but nothing crazy. Definitely not the strongest person on this station. Corval made a sound like a dying whale. Commander Silka put her face in her webbed hands. She sat there for a long moment, then looked up. I need to file a report with Fleet Command. About me juggling, about humans being terrifying. She stood, straightened her uniform. You are dismissed, Technician Brennan. Do not touch the gravity blade again. In fact, do not touch any weapons in the vault. Just do your maintenance work and try not to accidentally demonstrate any more horrifying abilities. I really don't think it's that. Dismissed. Cole shrugged, headed for the door. Behind him, he heard Corval asking if they had any sedatives strong enough for Calaxian physiology. Cole's tablet pinged as he stepped into the corridor. New message from station operations. Written reprimand for unauthorized gravity weapon juggling during designated lunch periods. Cole read it twice, then laughed so hard he almost dropped his burrito. Best worst day ever. He had a waste recycler to fix. The message came through official channels 2 hours later. All human personnel. Report to Training Arena Theta. Immediately. No explanation, no context, just the order. Cole was elbow deep in a malfunctioning waste recycler when his tablet pinged. He wiped his hands on a rag that was already more grease than fabric. Read the message twice. All humans. That was 47 people. Something was happening. He packed up his tools, headed for the arena. The corridors were fuller now. Mid-morning shift. Station personnel moving between assignments. Cole passed a group of Calaxian engineers. They stopped talking when they saw him. Stared. One of them made a gesture with his webbed hand that Cole didn't recognize. Might have been respectful. Might have been terrified. Hard to tell. By the time Cole reached Arena Theta, a crowd had already gathered outside. Humans. He loved them. Mechanics, engineers, medical staff, food service workers, the entire human contingent of Obsidian Station. Cole recognized some faces. Jenkins from Deck 8, Rivera from Hydroponics, Okoye from Medical. And there near the front was Hector Reyes. 6 feet of compact muscle and attitude wrapped in a welder's jumpsuit, burns on his forearms from years of working with plasma torches. Grin that said he found everything either hilarious or worth fighting. Usually both. Brennan, Torch's voice carried across the crowd. That was his nickname, had been since day one. Nobody called him Hector, just Torch. The hell did you do? Fixed a gravity lock. Must have been some fix. The arena doors opened. Commander Silka stood in the entrance. Behind her Corval. And someone new. A woman. Human. Late 40s maybe. Dark skin, sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. White coat over station fatigues. She carried herself like someone who'd spent her life proving she was the smartest person in every room. And usually was. Inside, Silka said. All of you. The humans filed in. The arena had been reconfigured. The weapons rack Cole had seen earlier was now center stage. And sitting on reinforced stands were training weapons. Batons, practice blades, combat staves, and in the middle, on its own pedestal, the gravity blade. Still spinning, still dark as a hole in space. I am High Commander Silka, the Calaxian said. Her voice carried across the arena without effort. This is Weapons Master Corval and Dr. Nadia Cross, our Chief Science Officer. The woman in the white coat nodded once, didn't smile. Technician Brennan has demonstrated an ability that we believed impossible. We need to determine if this ability is unique to him, or common among your species. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Torch caught Cole's eye. Raised an eyebrow. Cole shrugged. We will test each of you individually, Silka continued. The process is simple. Pick up the gravity blade. If you experience pain, drop it immediately. Medical personnel are standing by. She gestured to the side. 3 Calaxian medics, equipment at the ready, like they were expecting casualties. Who's first? Silence. Nobody moved. 47 humans staring at a sword that had killed Calaxian warriors. A sword that supposedly weighed more than a small spacecraft. I'll go. Torch stepped forward, because of course he did. He walked to the pedestal, rolled his shoulders, cracked his knuckles, reached out, grabbed the handle, lifted. The blade came up easily. Torch's eyes went wide. Holy shit. He held it at arm's length, turned it over, as he hammered the edge. This is what all the fuss is about. Feels like a damn crowbar. He tossed it up, caught it, grinned. Lighter than my plasma torch. Behind him, Corval's skin shifted orange. Try juggling it, Cole called out. Yeah. Torch grabbed 2 training batons from the rack and proceeded to juggle the gravity blade with better form than Cole had managed. 5 rotations, clean, no drops. He finished with a flourish, bowed. 20 years of circus training, baby. You were in the circus, someone asked. Nah, but I watch a lot of videos. Corval slumped against the wall. The testing continued. But faster now, more confident. Jenkins lifted it, said it felt like a pipe wrench. Rivera balanced it on her palm, spun it like a baton. Okoye held it overhead with one hand, did a squat, one after another. 47 humans. Some struggled more than others. A few needed both hands. But every single one of them lifted it, held it, handled it like it was nothing more than a tool. Not a single failure, not a single injury. And by the end, Corval was sitting on the floor, his skin cycling through colors, stress slime pooling around him. Dr. Cross had been taking notes the entire time, tablet in hand, stylus moving rapidly across the screen. When the last human set down the blade, she stepped forward. Fascinating. Her accent was Eastern European, Russian maybe, or Ukrainian, hard to place. Commander, I need to run full physiological scans. Bone density, muscle composition, neural response times, gravitational field sensitivity. Do it, Silka said quietly. Her skin had gone pale again, like she was watching her entire worldview collapse in real time. The next 6 hours were a blur of medical tests. Blood draws, bone scans, muscle biopsies, neural mappings. Cole sat in the medical bay while a Calaxian technician ran a scanner over his skeleton. The readings appeared on a holographic display. Numbers and graphs that meant nothing to him. Dr. Cross stood nearby, watching, taking notes. Your bone density is remarkable, she said, not looking at him, eyes on the data. Significantly higher than Calaxian baseline, despite your lower gravity evolution. Is that good? It's unexpected. She moved to another screen, pulled up a comparative analysis. Humans evolved on Earth, 1 standard G. Calaxians evolved on Calaveros Prime, 3.2 Gs. Logic suggests they should have denser bones, stronger muscles, superior physical resilience. But, but your species compensated differently. You developed tensile strength over compressive strength. Your muscles are built for endurance, not burst power. Your bones are lighter but more flexible, less likely to shatter under sudden stress. She zoomed in on a molecular structure, and your nervous system processes gravitational fields with remarkable efficiency. Where Calaxians feel the gravity blade's field as overwhelming pressure, you feel it as minor background noise, like the hum of a refrigerator. Cole thought about that. So we're better at handling gravity weapons because we come from a weaker gravity well. Essentially, yes. Dr. Cross finally looked at him. It's a paradox. The species from the weakest environment is the most capable. Evolution is full of such ironies. She closed the hologram. I'll have my full report ready by tomorrow, but preliminary findings suggest every human on this station can wield the gravity blade, and by extension, potentially any gravitationally based ancient weapon. How many of those are there? Dr. Cross didn't answer immediately. Then she said very quietly, more than you'd think. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session 12 hours later. Cole wasn't invited, but the fallout reached him anyway. The council chamber was on deck 1. Restricted access, diplomatic zone. Cole had never been inside. But Torch had a friend in station communications who liked to gossip. And gossip traveled fast. Admiral Thorne of the Kryn Dominion had demanded immediate quarantine of all human personnel. Humans, he argued, were unregistered weapons, walking security threats. Their very presence destabilized the power structure of the sector. Commander Silka had refused. Humans were crew, station personnel, under her protection. The argument had escalated. Threats were made, veiled, diplomatic, but threats nonetheless. By evening, every human on the station knew. They gathered in the commissary, an unofficial meeting. No officers, no command structure. Just 47 people trying to figure out what happened next. Cole sat with Torch at a corner table. This is insane, Torch said, kept his voice low. We're maintenance workers, not weapons. Try telling them that. Someone should. Cole took a drink. Coffee still tasted like a sock. We keep our heads down, do our jobs. This'll blow over. Will it? Torch leaned forward. Brennan, I've been in enough tight spots to know when things are about to get bad. This is about to get bad. Across the room, Dr. Cross entered, looked around, found Cole, walked over. Technician Brennan, Commander Silka wants to see you privately. Cole stood, followed her out. They walked in silence through empty corridors, past checkpoints, past security stations, to a section of the station Cole had never accessed. Sub-level 3, classified zone. The door required biometric authorization. Silka's specifically. The commander was waiting inside. They were in an elevator, going down. Where are we going? Cole asked. Silka didn't look at him. Somewhere that doesn't officially exist. The elevator descended for what felt like minutes, finally stopped. Doors opened, into darkness. Silka stepped out. Lights activated automatically, low amber glow. Cole followed, found himself in a chamber that made Vault Omega-7 look like a storage closet. The space was massive, cathedral-sized, hexagonal walls stretching up into shadows and lining every surface. Weapons, dozens of them, floating on pedestals, suspended in stasis fields, locked behind energy barriers, each one radiating menace. Cole could feel them, not physically, but something deeper, like standing near a high-voltage line. The air itself felt charged. This is the hidden armory, Silka said quietly. 47 ancient weapons, recovered from ruins across the sector, each one lethal to anyone who touches it. We've lost 132 personnel over the centuries trying to study them. She walked deeper into the chamber. Cole followed. His eyes adjusted to the dim light. He saw them clearly now. A hammer, massive. Dark metal shot through with veins of something that glowed faint purple. The void hammer, according to the placard beneath it, used to shatter moons. A lance, sleek, burning with internal fire that never consumed the metal. The Starfire lance burns wielders to ash within seconds. A blade that seemed to flicker in and out of focus, like it existed in multiple moments simultaneously. The Chronoblade ages anything it cuts forward in time. These weapons cannot be moved, Silka continued, cannot be studied safely, cannot be destroyed. They simply exist, dormant, waiting. She stopped in front of the void hammer. Until you. She turned to face Cole. I need to know. Can you handle these, even one of them? Cole looked at the hammer, then at Silka. You want me to try? I need to understand what we're dealing with. If humans can wield the gravity blade, what about the others? Is there a limit? She gestured to the chamber. This knowledge could change everything, or it could get you killed. Cole thought about his father. Fix it right or don't fix it at all. If I say no, then we learn nothing, and the council will make decisions based on fear and ignorance. Silka's golden eyes held steady. But I will not order you to do this. It's your choice. Cole walked to the void hammer. The pedestal was larger than the gravity blades. Reinforced supports, warning signs in 3 languages. Extreme danger. Gravitational crush hazard. Approach at own risk. He reached out, touched the handle. It was cold, smooth. His fingers wrapped around it. He lifted. The hammer came up, easy. Weight like a sledgehammer. 10, maybe 12 pounds. Balanced near the head. Behind him, Silka's throat sac inflated. Cole turned the hammer over, examined it. Feels solid. Good craftsmanship. He set it down gently, moved to the starfire lance. Internal fire dancing along its length. Heat shimmering the air around it. Cole grabbed it, lifted it overhead. The fire didn't burn him. Felt warm, comfortable, like holding a mug of coffee. Huh. He tested one more. The chrono blade. Flickering. Unstable looking. He picked it up. Felt no different than the others. Just a sword. Cole set it back on its pedestal. Looked at Silka. I could probably handle all of them, but I don't think we need to test that right now. Silka was sitting on the floor, not in a puddle of slime. Just sitting. Like standing had become too much effort. This changes everything, she whispered. Cole walked over, offered his hand. She took it. Let him help her up. I still don't think I'm special, Cole said. You're not. Silka looked at him. That's what terrifies me. If any human can do this, then your species isn't just dangerous. You're the key to an arsenal that could reshape the galaxy. She stood slowly, and now the question becomes, what do we do about it? The answer came 2 days later, from the Galactic Council, an official decree. All humans in Calaxian space must register as living weapons. Mandatory genetic tagging. Movement restrictions. Supervised access to technology. For their safety, the decree said. For everyone's safety. Cole read it 3 times. Felt something cold settle in his chest. He'd left the Marines to get away from being someone's weapon. Now aliens wanted to turn him into exactly that. The humans gathered again. Commissary, evening shift. The mood was different now. Angry, scared. They can't do this, Rivera said. Her hands shook. We're people, not property. The decree is legally binding, Dr. Cross said. She joined them, looked tired. Council law supersedes station regulations. So we just accept it. Torch's voice cut through the murmurs. Let them tag us like livestock. We don't have a choice. There's always a choice. All eyes turned to Cole. He hadn't meant to speak, but the words came anyway. I didn't leave one military to join another. I'm not registering. They'll arrest you, Dr. Cross said quietly. Then they'll arrest me. Silence. Then Torch stood. I'm with Brennan. Jenkins stood. Me too. Rivera. Yeah. One by one, 47 humans. Standing. Dr. Cross looked at them, shook her head. You're all insane. Probably, Cole said, but I respect it. She smiled slightly. I'll file the refusal paperwork. Buy you some time, but Brennan, you need to understand. This isn't going away. The council will escalate. Let them. The escalation came at 0342 hours. 3 nights later. Cole was asleep when the explosion hit. Not close, but big enough to feel through the deck plating. A rumble that pulled him from dreams into adrenaline. He was on his feet before conscious thought. Grabbing pants, boots, his father's wrench, tablet already pinging, emergency alert, explosion. Sublevel 3, the hidden armory. Cole ran, corridors filled with station personnel, alarms screaming, emergency lights strobing. He hit the elevator, descended. The doors opened onto chaos. Smoke, thick, black, chemical fire. The armory entrance was gone, just a crater. Metal twisted outward, still glowing orange. Security teams setting up perimeter. Medical responding. And in the smoke. Bodies, Calaxian guards, down, not moving. Cole pushed through, found Corval. The weapons master was on his back. Chest plate cracked. Dark blood pooling. All 3 eyes unfocused. Corval. Cole dropped to his knees. What happened? Breach. They came from the maintenance tunnels. I tried to stop them. Corval coughed. More blood. They took the weapons. 3 of them. The gravity blade, the void hammer, the chrono blade. Who? Didn't see faces. Professional. Fast. Corval's webbed hand grabbed Cole's arm. They left evidence. Your access codes, your genetic markers. They're framing you. Footsteps behind, heavy boots. Cole turned. Security. 6 Calaxian officers, weapons drawn. Technician Brennan, step away from Weapons Master Corval. He needs medical. Step away, now. Cole raised his hands, moved back. The lead officer approached, scanned something on a tablet. Genetic markers match. Access logs confirm. Technician Cole Brennan, you are under arrest for theft of classified weapons and attempted murder of Calaxian military personnel. I didn't do this. Tell it to the tribunal. They cuffed him. Hard metal, locked tight. Cole looked back at Corval. The weapons master's eyes met his. Tried to speak. Couldn't. Medical arrived, rushed Corval onto a stretcher. Cole was dragged away. The holding cell was small, bare, single bench, force field instead of bars. Cole sat, replayed everything. Professional, fast, maintenance tunnels, framed. This wasn't random. This was planned. But by who hours passed? No food, no water, no contact. Then footsteps. Dr. Cross appeared outside the force field. I have 10 minutes, she said without preamble. Security thinks I'm conducting a biological assessment. Did you find anything? The genetic markers were planted. Crude work. Anyone with basic lab access could do it. Your access codes were cloned 3 days ago. Someone's been planning this. The council. Doubtful. Too direct. This feels like something else. She pulled up a hologram from her tablet. I pulled the security footage before it was confiscated. The attackers wore scrambler suits, but I caught something. A patch. Here. She zoomed in, an insignia, barely visible through the digital interference. Kryn Dominion Military. Cole's blood went cold. Admiral Thorne, that's my theory, but I can't prove it. The footage is already being suppressed. Officially, you're the suspect. Where are the weapons now? Unknown. Station-wide search came up empty. They're off station, but we don't know where. The force field flickered. Dr. Cross looked up. My time's up. Brennan, listen. Torch was injured in the attack. Plasma burns, severe. He was near the armory when it blew. He's stable, but he's asking for you. Cole stood. Get me out of here. I'm working on it. But the evidence, damn the evidence. Someone just declared war on humans, and they're using me to justify it. I know. Dr. Cross met his eyes. Corval is filing a statement. He saw you weren't involved. Commander Silka is pushing back against the arrest, but it's not enough. The council wants blood. She started to leave. Stopped. There's something else. I pulled deep sensor logs. 2 nights before the attack, a Kryn freighter left the station. Unscheduled departure. Filed as a supply run, but the trajectory was wrong. Where was it headed? Kryn Prime, their homeworld. Cole processed that. The weapons are on Kryn Prime. That's my assessment. Then we need to get them back. We, you, me, anyone willing to help. Dr. Cross smiled, tired but real. You know they'll call this mutiny. Probably. I've never been part of a mutiny before. First time for everything. The force field dropped completely. Commander Silka stood in the corridor, hand on the control panel. Technician Brennan, Weapons Master Corval's testimony has exonerated you. You're free to go. Cole stepped out. Thank you, Commander. Don't thank me yet. Silka's golden eyes were hard. A Kryn mercenary was captured trying to leave the station. Under interrogation, he confessed. Admiral Thorne hired his team to steal the weapons. The plan is to use them as leverage against the Council. Force us into accepting Kryn dominance. She pulled up a star chart. The weapons are being taken to an ancient fortress on Kryn Prime. If Thorne activates them simultaneously, he'll trigger a gravitational cascade. The entire system could collapse. Then we stop him. Cole looked at her. You're not going alone. Silka studied him for a long moment, then nodded. I'm assembling a team. Small, fast, you, Dr. Cross, Corval, if medical clears him, 8 of my best Marines, and 1 more. Hubahan, your friend, Reyes, he volunteered. Cole felt something loosen in his chest. Torch is injured. He said, and I quote, "I'm not missing this." Silka turned. "We leave in 4 hours. Prep whatever you need. This is off book, no official sanction. If we fail, the council will disavow us. And if we succeed, then maybe we stop a war." She walked away. Dr. Cross looked at Cole. "You realize this is insane." "Yeah, good. Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page." Cole went to medical, found Torch in a recovery bay, bandages covering most of his torso, plasma burns treated but still raw. He was sitting up, grinning. "Heard you got out. Heard you got blown up." "Just a little." Torch gestured to the bandages. "Doc says I'll have cool scars. Chicks dig scars." "You volunteered for a suicide mission." "Damn right I did." Torch's grin faded. Something serious underneath. "Brennan, these bastards tried to frame you. Hurt our people. Stole weapons to threaten the galaxy. Someone's got to stop them. Might as well be us." "Might as well." They sat in silence. Then Torch said, "Your dad would be proud." Cole looked at him. Yeah, you're doing what's right, even when it's hard. That's what he taught you, isn't it?" Cole touched the wrench on his belt. "Fix it right or don't fix it at all." "Exactly." Torch stood, winced, steadied himself. "So let's go fix this." The ship was a military courier, fast, armed, crew of 12. Silka commanded from the bridge. Corval at tactical. Cleared for duty despite the bandages. Dr. Cross at sciences station. 8 Calaxian Marines in the hold. And in the engineering bay, Cole and Torch. The FTL jump to Kryn Prime would take 72 hours. Time to plan. Time to prepare. Time to understand what they were walking into. Cole sat with the schematic of the ancient fortress, pulled from archaeological records. The place was massive, built into a mountain, thousands of years old, stone and metal fused by technology nobody understood anymore. 3 levels, he said, tracing the layout with his finger. Main entrance here, but Thorn won't use that, too obvious. Maintenance access? Torch leaned over his shoulder. Has to be. Every building has one, even ancient alien fortresses. They found it, a service tunnel, marked on the original plans but filled in centuries ago. "We can dig it out," Cole said. "In how long is 6 hours? Maybe 8? "We won't have 8 hours." Cole looked up. Torch was right. Once they landed, Thorn would know, would activate the weapons immediately. They needed another way. Dr. Cross entered the engineering bay. "I've been analyzing the weapons' energy signatures. If Thorn activates all 3 simultaneously, the gravitational interference will create a resonance cascade. But there's a brief window, maybe 30 seconds, between activation and full cascade." 30 seconds to do what? "Reverse the polarity. The weapons respond to intent. If you can assert control before the cascade completes, you can shut them down." You're the only one who can touch them safely." Cole sat back. "So the plan is break into an ancient fortress, fight through Thorn's forces, reach the weapons during a 30-second window, and reverse a gravitational cascade before it collapses the system." "Essentially, yes." Torch laughed. "I've had worse Tuesday nights." Silka's voice came through the comm. "All hands, we exit FTL in 10 minutes. Kryn Prime dead ahead. Prepare for insertion." Cole grabbed his father's wrench, clipped it to his belt. "Fix it right. Time to go to work." Kryn Prime filled the viewport. Red planet, darker than Mars. Atmospheric storms swirling across the surface like open wounds. 3 moons hanging in close orbit. Too close. Their gravitational pull visible in the way the planet's atmosphere rippled and churned. Cole felt the ship shudder as they entered the gravity well. 2.5 standard Gs. He felt it immediately. Weight settling into his bones, breathing harder, heart working double time just to pump blood. Beside him, Torch gripped the console. Knuckles white. "This is gonna suck," Torch said. "Yeah." The Calaxian Marines didn't seem affected. They moved through the ship normally. Their bodies built for this, evolved for it. For the first time since this started, Cole understood. The humans were the weak ones here. Silka's voice came through the comm. "Atmospheric entry in 2 minutes. Stealth approach. We're landing 5 kilometers from the fortress. The terrain will provide cover." The ship banked. Hard. G-forces pressed Cole into his seat. His vision tunneled. Grayed at the edges, then leveled out. They punched through the cloud layer. Below, red desert stretched to the horizon. Rocky, barren, and rising from a mountain range in the distance. The fortress. Even from here it looked massive. Black stone, ancient, built into the mountain itself like it had grown there. Spires reaching toward the sky. Walls that had stood for millennia. The ship dropped fast, landing thrusters firing, kicking up storms of red dust. Impact. The landing gear absorbed most of it, but Cole still felt his teeth rattle. The engines powered down. Silence. Silka appeared in the doorway to engineering. We move in 10 minutes. Combat gear. Minimal loadout. Speed over firepower. She looked at Cole and Torch. The gravity will slow you down. Stay close to the team. If you fall behind, we keep moving. Understood, Cole said. Silka nodded, left. Torch stood, immediately stumbled, caught himself on the bulkhead. Jesus, it's like wearing a weighted vest. Two of them. Cole stood slower, tested his balance. Everything felt wrong. His body heavier, movement sluggish. He touched his father's wrench. Still there, they geared up. Body armor, light. Designed for Calaxians, but adjusted for human frames. Communications earpiece, emergency beacon, sidearm. Cole had never carried a gun on this station. Now seemed like a good time to start. The cargo ramp lowered, red dust swirled in, the air tasted like iron and sulfur. Cole stepped out and nearly fell. The gravity hit like a physical force, pulling him down. Every step an effort, his legs screaming, lungs burning. Around him the Calaxian Marines moved normally, weapons ready, formation tight. Corval approached. His skin was pale blue. Stress from the injury, but mobile, functional. Stay between the Marines. We'll shield you from the worst of it. Appreciate it. They moved out. 5 kilometers. In Earth gravity, maybe an hour's march. Here, 3 hours minimum. The terrain was brutal. Rocky outcrops, steep inclines, loose scree that shifted underfoot, and the gravity making every step feel like wading through water. Cole fell twice in the first kilometer. Torch fell 3 times. The Marines didn't say anything, but they adjusted formation. 2 in front, 2 behind, creating a pocket where the humans could move with less resistance. Small kindness, Cole noticed. By the 3rd kilometer, his legs were rubber, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Torch wasn't much better, limping, favoring his burned side. But they kept moving. The fortress loomed larger. Details emerging, walls carved with symbols nobody could read anymore. Windows like empty eyes, and at the base, guards, Kryn soldiers, a dozen at least, patrolling, armed. The team stopped behind a ridge, half a kilometer out. Silka pulled out optics, scanned the fortress. Main entrance is heavily defended, as expected. She lowered the optics, looked at Cole. Your maintenance access? Cole pulled up the schematic on his tablet, cross-referenced with what he was seeing. North side, behind those rock formations. Should be a tunnel entrance, filled in. But we can dig it out. How long? 2 hours, maybe 3. We don't have 3 hours. Silka's expression hardened. Thorn knows we're here by now. He'll activate the weapon soon. We need another way in. Cole studied the fortress, traced the walls with his eyes, then stopped. There, he pointed. High on the wall, maybe 40 feet up. An opening, small, irregular. Ventilation shaft. Every building needs them, even ancient ones. That's too high. For you, not for us. Cole looked at Torch. Remember deck 15, the coolant leak? Torch grinned through the pain. Yeah, you're thinking what I'm thinking. Yeah. Cole turned to Silka. Get us to that wall. We'll find a way up. The wall was smooth, ancient stone worn by wind and time. No handholds, no obvious way up. But Cole didn't need obvious. He needed practical. He examined the stone, ran his hands over it, found seams, cracks, places where the wall had been repaired over centuries. Different materials, different densities. Here, he pointed to a section where metal reinforcements had been added, probably 1,000 years ago, oxidized now, brittle. Torch, can you cut? Torch pulled out his plasma torch, the one he always carried, checked the fuel cell. Got enough for a few cuts. What do you need? Handholds, every 3 feet. Torch fired up the torch. The plasma glowed white hot. He cut into the wall, quick, precise. Years of welding experience guiding his hand. First handhold, then second, then third. Cole started climbing. The gravity tried to pull him down. His arms screamed, his fingers ached. But he moved, one hold at a time. Below the Marines watched, silent, weapons covering the perimeter. Cole reached the ventilation shaft, 15 feet up, pulled himself level, looked inside. Dark, narrow, but passable. Clear, he called down. Torch came up next, slower, favoring his burns, but he made it. Then Corval, then 2 Marines. The shaft was tight. Cole had to crawl, hands and knees, the metal cold, ancient. His breathing echoed off the walls. They moved in darkness. Single file. No light. Didn't want to risk detection. Cole's hands found obstacles. Old machinery. Debris. He pushed through, kept moving. After what felt like an eternity, he saw light. Faint. Flickering. He crawled toward it. The shaft opened into a chamber. Cole peered out. Large room, stone walls, ancient machinery humming. And in the center, 3 pedestals. On them, the stolen weapons, the gravity blade, still spinning, dark as void. The void hammer, purple veins pulsing. The chrono blade, flickering in and out of focus. And standing before them, Admiral Thorne, tall, even for a Kryn, 7 feet of scaled muscle, 4 arms, each one holding a control tablet. His face was angular, sharp, eyes like chips of obsidian. Around him, mercenaries, 20 at least, armed, armored, and near the back, Captain Zorn. Smaller than Thorne, but deadlier. Cole could see it in the way she moved. Predator grace. 2 weapons on her hip, rifle across her back. She was scanning the room. Professional, thorough. Cole pulled back, whispered into his comm. Found them. Thorne's here. 20 hostiles, maybe more. Silka's voice crackled back. Hold position. We're coming up. Cole waited. The team assembled in the shaft. Cramped, silent. Silka assessed through the opening. Direct assault won't work. Too many of them. Too little cover. We don't need to fight all of them, Cole said. Just Thorne. Stop the activation. How, Cole thought. Then reached for his father's wrench. I create a distraction. Draw their attention. You and the Marines hit them from behind. That's suicide. Not if I'm fast. Torch grabbed his arm. Brennan, this is insane even for you. You got a better idea. Silence. Torch released his arm. Just don't die, hermano. Cole nodded. Positioned himself at the shaft opening. Counted to 3. Dropped into the chamber. He hit the ground hard. 2.5 Gs, making the impact brutal. Pain shot through his ankles. He rolled. Came up running, straight toward the pedestals. The mercenaries reacted. Weapons rising. Shouts. Cole didn't stop. He reached the gravity blade, grabbed it, spun. 20 guns pointed at him. Stop. Thorne's voice, deep, resonant. The mercenaries held fire. Thorne stepped forward, 4 tablets still in his hands. A human, how unexpected. Let me guess, you're Admiral Thorne. I am, and you are the one who has caused such disruption. The maintenance technician who can wield what others cannot. Thorne's eyes narrowed. Tell me, do you understand what you hold? The gravity blade is not merely a weapon. It is a key, as are the others. Together, they unlock power beyond comprehension. Power to do what? To reshape the galaxy. Thorne gestured broadly. For too long, the Calaxians have held dominance through their arsenal. But they are weak, afraid, unable to even touch their own weapons. My people, the Kryn, we are strong, we deserve to rule. By threatening to collapse a solar system, by demonstrating strength, Thorne raised the tablets. I will activate these weapons, show the Council what true power looks like, and they will bow, or they will die. Cole adjusted his grip on the gravity blade. Or option 3, you surrender, face trial, live. Thorne laughed. You stand alone, against 20 soldiers, in gravity that crushes your weak frame, and you offer me surrender. Yeah, admirable courage, foolish but admirable. Thorne tapped a command on the tablets. The weapons began to hum. The void hammer's purple veins glowed brighter. The chrono blade's flicker accelerated. The gravity blade in Cole's hands grew warm. He felt it. The gravitational fields activating, building, resonating with each other. The air itself began to distort. It has begun, Thorne said. In 30 seconds, the cascade will complete. This system will collapse into a singularity, unless I stop it, which I will. Once the Council agrees to my terms. Cole looked at the weapons. 30 seconds. Behind Thorne movement. The ventilation shaft. Silka and the Marines dropping into the room. Silent. Weapons ready. Thorne didn't notice. His attention fixed on Cole. You cannot stop this human. Even if you could reach the other weapons, you lack the knowledge to reverse the cascade. Maybe, Cole smiled, but I know how to fix broken things. He raised his father's wrench and threw it. Not at Thorne, at the void hammer's pedestal. The wrench hit the control panel. Sparks flew. The pedestal's gravity lock fluctuated. The void hammer dropped 6 inches. Its field destabilized. The resonance pattern broke. Thorne spun, saw the Marines. Kill them! The chamber erupted. Gunfire, plasma bolts, energy beams crossing in lethal patterns. Cole dropped, rolled behind a pedestal. The gravity blade still in his hand. The Marines returned fire. Coordinated, professional, taking cover, advancing. Cole saw Zoran move. Fast, impossibly fast. She flanked the Marines, rifle up. Firing, one Marine went down. Then another. Corval engaged her, his weapon tracking. Firing. Zoran danced through the shots, liquid movement. She closed distance. Drew a blade from her hip. Engaged Corval in melee. The weapons master fought back. Trained, skilled, but wounded, slowing. Zoran saw the opening, drove her blade toward his throat. Cole moved without thinking, crossed the distance. Gravity blade raised, intercepted her strike, metal rang against metal. Zoran's eyes widened. You. She disengaged, reassessed. The human who can touch the blade. Yeah. Impressive. She attacked. Fast, brutal, no wasted movement. Cole defended. Barely. She was trained. A lifetime of combat. He was a maintenance tech who'd learned to fight in the Marines years ago. She drove him back. Strike, parry, strike, parry. His arms ached, the gravity pulling, his muscles screaming. She saw him weakening, pressed harder. Her blade slipped past his guard, cut across his shoulder. Pain flared. Cole stumbled. She kicked him. Center mass. He flew back, hit the wall, the gravity blade falling from his hands. Zoran advanced. Cole's hand found his belt, his father's wrench. Wait, no, he'd thrown it. But his fingers closed around something else. His multi-tool. He pulled it, activated the plasma cutter. Small, weak, designed for cutting wire, not fighting. Zoran laughed. Pathetic. She raised her blade. Cole rolled. The blade struck stone where his head had been. He came up, grabbed the gravity blade with one hand, multi-tool in the other. Zoran attacked again. Cole didn't parry. He dodged, turned, got inside her guard, pressed the plasma cutter against her weapon's power cell. The cell overloaded, exploded. Small explosion, but close. Zoran screamed, dropped the weapon. Her hand burned. Cole swept her legs. She went down. He leveled the gravity blade at her throat. Don't. She stared up at him, calculating, then smiled. Do it. Prove you're a weapon. Cole held the blade steady. His hand trembled. Not from fear, from choice. He could end this. One strike. She'd killed Marines, hurt his friends, tried to kill him. She deserved it. Fix it right or don't fix it at all. His father's voice, not about killing, about fixing. He lowered the blade. No. Zoran's smile faded. You're weak. Maybe. He knocked her unconscious with the blade's pommel. Turned. The battle was ending. The mercenaries surrendering or fleeing. The Marines securing the chamber. But Thorne stood at the pedestals, all 4 hands on the control tablets. Fools. You think you've won. The cascade continues. 20 seconds. 15. Silka aimed at him. Shut it down. Or what? You'll shoot me. Then the cascade completes. Everyone dies. Cole walked toward him. Let me guess. You need all 3 weapons active to complete the cascade, but you also need them to stop it. Thorne's eyes flickered. Smart human. Not really, just experienced with broken systems. Cole reached the pedestals. The weapons hummed, glowing, their fields visible now, distorting space around them. He felt it, the resonance building, pressure in his skull, his bones vibrating. Dr. Cross's voice in his calm. Cole, 10 seconds. You need to reverse the polarity simultaneously on all 3 weapons. How? I don't know, but you're the only one who can touch them. Trust your instincts. Cole looked at the weapons, 3 of them. He had 2 hands. Not enough, unless he grabbed the void hammer with his left hand, the chrono blade with his right, and kicked the gravity blade hard. It spun up into the air. He felt the weapons, their intent, their purpose, not to destroy, to protect. They'd been made by people who understood gravity, who respected it, who knew its power. These weren't weapons of conquest. They were tools of balance. He thought about his father, about fixing things, about making them work the way they were supposed to. And he reversed the polarity, not through controls, through will, through understanding. The weapons responded. Their fields shifted, inverted. The cascade stopped, reversed. The pressure in Cole's skull released. The humming faded. The gravity blade fell. He caught it, one-handed. Silence. Thorne stared. Impossible. You keep using that word. Cole set down the weapons, gently. You had power, all that technology, all those plans, but you didn't understand what you were holding. These aren't weapons. They're responsibilities. He walked toward Thorne. And you're not responsible enough to hold a wrench, let alone these. Thorne's hands clenched, all four of them. I will not be lectured by a primitive. Silka's voice cut through. Admiral Thorne, you are under arrest for theft, conspiracy, attempted murder, and attempting to trigger a gravitational cascade that would have killed billions. She gestured. Marines surrounded him. Surrender now. Thorne looked around, his mercenaries captured. His plan failed. His weapons secured. He lowered his hands. This isn't over. Yeah, Cole said, it is. The journey back was quieter. Corval in medical, recovering. He'd live. Torch sleeping, exhausted. Burns treated. The captured mercenaries in the brig. Thorne separate, under constant guard. Cole sat in engineering, alone. His father's wrench on the workbench in front of him. He'd recovered it from the fortress. Dented now, scratched, but intact. He ran his thumb over the worn handle. Fix it right. He had. Silka entered. Mind if I sit? Go ahead. She sat. Her skin was calm blue, relaxed. You did well, Technician Brennan. Cole. They sat in silence. Then Silka said, the council is convening, emergency session, to discuss what happened and what it means. What does it mean? That we were wrong about your species, about what you're capable of, about what you represent. She looked at him. The council will offer humanity full membership, equal status, voting rights, access to all technologies and territories. That's good. They'll also offer you a position, galactic liaison for human-alien relations, high rank, significant influence. Cole smiled. And I'm guessing you already know my answer. I suspect. I'm a maintenance tech commander. That's what I'm good at. That's what I want to be. You're more than that. Maybe, but I'm happy with who I am. Silka nodded. Your friend, Reyes. He accepted the position. Cole laughed. Of course he did. He'll be good at it. Yeah, he will. Silka stood. We arrive at Obsidian Station in 6 hours. There will be ceremonies, recognition, media attention. Sounds awful. It will be, but necessary. The galaxy needs to see what happened. Understand what your species represents. She moved toward the door, stopped. Thank you, Cole, for trusting me, for helping. Thank you for trusting humans. I didn't at first. I know, but you learned. Silka's skin flickered warmer blue, something like a smile. We all did. The station was different when they returned. Crowds at the docking bay, humans, Calaxians, Kryn, Vortellians, species from across the sector, all waiting. The cargo ramp lowered. Cole stepped out. To applause. It felt wrong, uncomfortable. He wasn't a hero, he was just a guy who'd done his job. But he stood there. Let them applaud, because apparently it mattered. The crowd parted. Torch approached, bandaged, grinning, wearing a suit. An actual suit. Looking good liaison, Cole said, feeling ridiculous. But the pay's great. They embraced. Carefully, Torch's burns still healing. You sure about this? Cole asked. Yeah, someone's got to represent humanity. Might as well be someone who knows what he's doing. You've never done politics in your life. Neither had you before you juggled an ancient weapon of mass destruction. We learn as we go. Fair point. The ceremonies lasted 3 hours. Speeches, commendations, official recognitions. Cole received a medal from the Galactic Council itself for distinguished service, for preventing catastrophe, for representing the best of humanity. He accepted it, put it in a drawer later. The council announced humanity's full membership, equal partners in the galactic community. The crowd cheered. Cole slipped away during the celebration, found his way back to his quarters, his bunk, his workbench, his tablet full of maintenance orders. He sat, pulled up the work order log. 17 new tickets, broken lights, malfunctioning doors, a waste recycler on Deck 9 still acting up. He smiled, selected the recycler job, grabbed his toolkit and his father's wrench. 3 months later, Vault Omega 7, Cole was replacing a graviton emitter. Routine maintenance. The Type 9 he'd installed was working fine, but the secondary emitter needed calibration. He worked in silence, just him and the equipment. The vault door opened. Corval entered. His skin was healthy blue-green, no stress, his injuries healed. Technician Brennan, weapons master. I brought someone, if you have a moment. Corval gestured. A young Calaxian entered. Maybe equivalent to 16 human years. Small for his species, nervous, his skin flickering between colors uncertainly. This is my nephew, Velker. He wishes to study engineering. I told him you were the best teacher on the station. Cole looked at the young Calaxian, saw himself, years ago, learning from his father. You want to learn maintenance? Velker nodded. I want to learn how things work, how to fix them. Cole stood. All right, let's start with this emitter. Hand me that calibration tool. Velker did. For the next hour, Cole taught, showed the young Calaxian how to read gravitational fields, how to adjust emitters, how to verify calibration. The kid was smart, asked good questions, paid attention. When they finished, the emitter hummed perfectly, steady, balanced. You did good work, Cole said. Velkir's skin brightened, pride. Thank you, Technician Brennan. Call me Cole. Corval approached. Thank you for taking time with him. No problem. Kid's got potential. They left. Cole packed up his tools. His tablet pinged. Message from Torch. Council meeting next week. Want you there as technical advisor. Discussing new human Calaxian engineering programs. Pays good. Food's better. Cole typed back. Pass. Got a backed up toilet on deck 12. You're impossible. Nah, just practical. Cole smiled. Put away his tablet. In the center of the vault, the gravity blade spun. Dark, silent, powerful, but just a tool, like any other. Cole touched his father's wrench, the metal warm from his body heat, dented from the fortress, scratched, worn, perfect. Fix it right or don't fix it at all, son. He had, and he would keep fixing things, one broken system at a time, because that's what he did. That's who he was. Not a weapon, not a hero, just a mechanic, with a wrench, and that was enough. On deck 12, a toilet was backing up. Cole grabbed his kit, clipped his father's wrench to his belt, and headed out. There was work to do, always was.